And as promised, we get you the live pictures that we are getting of Prime Minister Modi in conversation with the US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. These are the live pictures that are coming in. And there are several issues that will be taken up in the bilaterals that will be happening not only with Prime Minister Modi, but a meeting that is scheduled to take place with NSA Ajit Doval as well later on. There is a meeting that will be taking place with the External Affairs Minister Subramanian Jaishankar. Now, this is really setting the ground for the next meeting that is to take place between the Indian Prime Minister and the President of the United States, Donald Trump, on the sidelines of the G20 summit that will be taking place in Osaka in Japan this week. There are several issues that will be taken up in the current meeting, bilateral, that will be taken up between the two countries. Let me straight away ask that question to our executive editor, Abhishek Kapoor, who is with us. Abhishek, when it comes to the key issues, what exactly will be the highlight of the meeting and the kind of relations that we are looking at between India and the United States? We've seen a long, smooth relationship that has been happening between the two countries, but there has been certain places of strain that we have also witnessed. Will that be ironed out?
Amita, first the pictures, it looks like both leaders are having a very engaging conversation, and there was certain warmth when the two met and had that handshake. And also important is that when the Prime Minister and the Secretary of State are meeting, from the Indian side at least, there is full delegation that is present, and obviously the Secretary of State is also traveling with his own set of people, and they are there. India-US relationship is variously described as a natural alliance and a coming together of natural allies. And it has grown in leaps and bounds over the last 2 decades, marked in some way by the civil nuclear deal, and then subsequently the increase in military equipment uptake by India from the United States. About a decade back, it was almost zero, and now it's upwards of $17 billion, and there is more in the pipeline. So while there was a time when America was not a defense partner of any consequence, now it's a significant one. America has also responded by declaring India as a major defense partner, renaming Pacific Command as Indo-Pacific Command, and many other things, including logistics and communication sharing agreements, the LEMO and COMCASA, respectively. Having said that, over the last few months and more, the relationship is kind of stuck on the trade issue, and that's part of, obviously, the Trump administration's larger plan to salvage America by getting into tariff tit-for-tat with most of the nations. In fact, there is a major one going on with the Chinese. So in that context, how the two sides calibrate and triangulate that aspect of the relationship so that the otherwise very durable coming together of the two democracies, the largest one and the most powerful one in the world, remains intact. So you can expect that this dialogue that is taking place between the two leaders now, and of course after that, Secretary Pompeo is going to have a one-on-one with the National Security Advisor. And then you can expect, because it's about the strategy and the national security and India's neighborhood, you can expect that Ajit Doval, the NSA, would be discussing Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iran, and the other neighborhood with Secretary Pompeo. And then, of course, a long delegation-level talk that takes place between External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar and Secretary Pompeo at the Jawaharlal Nehru Bhavan, after which there would be a joint statement as well. Many things, Amita. Of course, this is the first high-profile visit or connect with the Trump administration after Prime Minister Modi came back to power. Two, it is in a way preparatory to the bilateral that is going to take place between Prime Minister Modi and President Trump in Osaka on the sidelines of G20 summit in just a couple of days, on 28th, in fact. And then, of course, the whole gamut of India-US relationship in its totality. So, for example, whether just trade is discussed or a strategic dimension is discussed, everything obviously on the table. And what modus vivendi the two nations find out, we would know when the joint statement happens at around 2 p.m.
All right, we'll be keeping an eye out on what all developments takes place. But currently, you have this meeting happening with Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. We stay with the visuals as we slip into a short break. We continue with our live coverage.